I gotta start off by saying, if this is gonna be up here, we really need to get a ramp. This is not accessible to handicapped or drunk people. Those stairs are ominous, man. Every drink. So, it's been about a year since I've been up here. Yeah, I'm glad to be back. Advice for writers: if you have writer block, seriously, go to jail. It helps. I'm not a comedian. That's just like serious advice. Like you get a lot done. So let's. Also, I'm really professional, so I was gonna read this off my website on my phone, but my phone died. So we're down to 2 poems now because I printed them out earlier. One of the worst parts about post-9/11 airports is you can't meet your lovers at the gates anymore. You can't run off a plane and embrace with a kiss like two poor folks who never went to etiquette school. The kind of kiss that's more like two faces punching each other. The kind of kiss that has traveled 1,000 miles in bated anticipation. We shuffle off the plane and head to the baggage claim. The kids behind me were born after 9/11. They will never understand Richard Gere and Julia Roberts' brand of love. A love where nothing else mattered but getting back into each other's arms. That love is gone. It's dead. We have to go through security first. Take off your shoes, check your liver for spots, and make sure you aren't carrying anyone else's luggage. Loose lips sink ships. Don't say anything that might give aid to the enemy. Everyone has to make sacrifices. Your love comes second. Here's a poem about current events. This is called A Race Against Time. I was painting a portrait of racism the other night when I figured this out, so let me paint you a picture now. See, I'm a writer and not a very good artist, and I'm overly clumsy and far too bulky for my own good. I have a boxer's hands to go with a boxer's grip, which is the worst way to grab a paintbrush, unless you want to tip over your paints. And that is exactly what I did. I tipped over that tray thing with the little slots for all the different colors of paint to keep them separated. They went tumbling to the floor and they all mixed together and became one. And there was no more white, no more purple, no more yellow or red. There were no lines to color in or outside of because the paint was everywhere. And I left it to dry instead of calling it a mess that needs to be cleaned up. I gave it a chance to become its own thing, and it didn't. It just remained sprawling on the floor. But at least it was given a chance. And then I turned on the TV to see that cowboy has-been from Gran Torino talking about how this is a pussy generation and how everyone is too politically correct. He said we used to not be afraid of words like nigger and spick, and we walked around proudly in our own neighborhoods, and I immediately turned that bullshit off. Not to ignore it, but because I couldn't respond to it. I've been screaming at the TV for 32 years now, and I've determined that either they can't hear me or they just don't give a shit. It may be both. But I want to scream. I want to tell them that people still aren't afraid to use those words, they just choose not to. I want to tell them that they still walk around proudly in their own neighborhoods, and they are even more proud that he doesn't live here. But all that'll lead to is an us versus them mentality, which eventually leads to wars. We can't have a war, not based on this. And there are people out there who want that, and there are a lot of them. And they are using those words, and they are walking those neighborhoods, and they are posting on alt-right message boards and talking about how the white man is going extinct and how they are the minority. They whitewash phrases like white supremacists to become racial purists, and I realize they just gave us the answer. We need to spill the paint. We need to fall in love with people of color, any color, every color. We need to spill the paint and mix it together and make new colors. And this is going to take a long time. But anything worth doing is worth doing right. And there will be no more primary colors and secondary colors. There will only be people. But it's not enough to mix the colors. We have to clean up the act too. We have to raise our children of all colors right. We have to tell them that no color is better than another, and that you can draw a painting with just one color because that is a choice. You can surround yourself with just one color and only use just one color your entire life. But what kind of a life is that? You walk down the street and the roses are gray and the trees are gray and the gray men at the bar are hitting on gray women outside and the bartender is pouring Grey Goose for everyone, trying to wash down the fact that something is definitely wrong. We need red roses and green trees and black men with white women and Asian women with white men, and everyone needs to just start mixing and loving the mix until there is nothing left to stereotype, nothing left to minimize, undermine, or scrutinize. And if we don't do this soon, I fear there may be nothing left to scrutinize at all. Thank you very much.